What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Locked In Sports Podcast. I'm William Locke, and joining me this Monday morning, early Monday, is Luis Barranco. Luis, how you doing?
How we doing this morning? It is week 5.5. There was some elite baseball this weekend. How are you doing?
Doing good. Like I said, my brother's graduation was this weekend at Michigan, so that was good. I don't know if you saw, but Derek Jeter was the commencement speaker, so that was cool for me. Obviously, had a good speech, pretty normal speech, graduation, what you would expect, but thought it was good. His parents were there. And then I actually got the news last night that Michigan's president looks like he's going to Florida, which was interesting. So he obviously spoke at the graduation and looks like he's gone. But yeah, it was a good weekend.
Another snowbird. Special shout out to your brother, special shout out, to him. Welcome to the adult force, joining, the real world, as they say, leaving the college bubble, joining society, as they would say. Any big plans for the big man?
He's still looking. He's still living in Ann Arbor. I think his lease expires sometime this summer. So looking for a job, trying to get up here to Chicago. So
hey, that's no, the job market and the dating market, it's a numbers game. You just gotta throw applications out there and see if one hits, see how it goes, and then see if it's a good match and it's a good fit. So congratulations to him. I know it must have been a great weekend for you and your family. I bet your parents are so proud now that he's done too. Both of y'all are now done, two college educated young males in society. Congratulations to him. And to that point, we will now move on to the week that was in baseball. How much baseball do you watch this weekend?
I watched the Yankees. I was able to Friday, Saturday was busy, but was able to catch up on MLB TV. Watch the game in rewind, and then I watched Sunday. So was tapped into the Yankees, watched Sunday Night Baseball, watched Royals Orioles on Saturday because it was on TV. So decent amount, not as much as I normally do just because I was out of town, but still tapped in, was still watching. The MLB TV does a great job with condensed recaps and everything. They have condensed recaps for every single game. And then if you want to go through every single game, they have the day after, they have MLB TV, the rundown, where it's literally highlights for like 3 to 5 minutes for each game. It's like a 45-minute video every single game. So I was watching those, catching up, and ready to go today.
All right, let's tap in. I mean, it's week 5.5. Welcome to the Locked In Sports Podcast. As we always start the Locked In Sports Podcast, baseball edition, we too do a Yankees recap with our resident Yankee fan aficionado, William Locke. And without further ado, we will talk about this weekend that was for the Yankees. So this weekend was a fairly disappointing week. We're going to be a little different today. I have a lot of thoughts regarding the series. Yankees had a 3-game set against Tampa, in which the Yankees won Friday night, 1-3-0. Max Fried again, elite. 7 innings, 1 hit, 0 earned, ball, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts, so 1-3-0. Saturday and Sunday get to watch both games. They lost 3-2 on Saturday and then 7-5. Again, a lot of questionable decision making that was made in both games. I mean, Saturday you had the Clark Schmidt being scratched right before with the Ryan Yarborough outing. And then you had the Sunday game where Aaron Boone mismanagement, where Yankees clawed back, put in Cookie Carrasco, gives up runs. And then they claw back again, bases loaded. We're going to have JC Escarra hit right there, bases loaded, when you had Ben Rice available and Austin Wells available. I think the biggest thing about Saturday's game was you were in control for the whole game, and then Mark Leiter Jr. blew it, and Anthony Volpe was not good defensively. Yes, the Anthony Volpe injury will be something that will be discussed, but you have to make that play. William, without further ado, I'll let you talk about it before I get my thoughts. All I'll say is this. You guys have to be thankful that there wasn't a podcast yesterday, because if it was yesterday, I would, it would have not been a good one for the Yankees. They would have been flamed.
Are you saying that Volpe should have made the play on what would have been the double play ball, not the play that he got injured on, right?
I think he should make one of those plays. I just think like one of the things that they were talking on the telecast, and I rarely do rip into the telecast. I think Michael Kay is a very knowledgeable, sportscaster, is that Chandler Simpson was on base. Like doubling up Chandler Simpson, like you don't double him up. Like it's very hard. That ball has to be like over 105 exit velo, like rocket, where you have to like turn the double play. Like it's going to be really hard. And the Rays are just a really hard team to double up off because everybody on the Rays is pretty much a plus runner. Jake Magnum, no, it wasn't Magnum. I think it was Cameron Meisner, Jose Caballero, Chandler Simpson. Like the only guys on the Rays that you could pretty much say you can double up on was their catcher, their catcher, and Yandy Diaz. Everybody else on the Rays is a plus runner.
Yeah. I mean, obviously frustrating. You want to win the series against the Rays. I think Saturday you could probably chalk that up as the 7th game of the year that the Yankees lost. They should have won. Winning that one 2-1 late in the game, and then Mark Leiter Jr. comes in and kind of, gives it away. Volpe, yeah, I think he should have made the play on the double play ball going to his left, where he bobbled it. It would have been a close play, stepping on second and trying to make the throw at first, but he at least has to get that out at second. And obviously he bobbled it. Was out of the lineup on Sunday. We'll see if he's in the lineup today against San Diego. It seems like they avoided the worst with Volpe because that injury, it reminded me exactly of the Trevor Story injury last year where they were in Los Angeles against the Angels, diving to his right, same exact play, and he ended up fracturing his elbow. So I think Volpe kind of got out lucky with that one. And we saw the lineup yesterday. Like for as much as we question Volpe sometimes, you still need the dude in the lineup. Yeah, Saturday was tough. Aaron, like it's getting to the point where we can't let Aaron Judge do everything. And, he's hitting ludicrous numbers right now. He's obviously going to come back down to earth a little bit. He's still going to hopefully hit in the 300s this year with a bunch of home runs, but this is probably the best Judge we're going to get all season. So ideally you win you win more games than they are right now. I do think it's important to have some perspective on this though. And I know the Yankees they had a bad week. They lost 2 series against Baltimore and Tampa Bay. They didn't win a single series, 2-4 week, disappointing. They are still 2 games ahead of Boston right now. And it's shaping up to be kind of a weak division. We know it's a weak American League. Boston just lost their starting baseman for the whole year. Triston Casas torn patella tendon. So I do think it's important to have like a bird's eye view of this. Now, if you go look at the series this year that the Yankees have had, they swept Milwaukee. Basically, what I want to say here is they haven't won a series against a team that I think is all that great. Like they swept Milwaukee, then they lost to Arizona 2-3. They beat Pittsburgh 2-1 in the series. Lost to Detroit 2-1. Lost San Francisco 2-1. Swept Kansas City in 3. Beat Tampa Bay 3-4. And then lost to Cleveland in 3. Beat Toronto 2 out of 3, and then lost to Baltimore and lost to Tampa Bay. There's not a team on that list that I think is going to be in the playoffs that they have won a series against this year. So I do think that is something to monitor moving forward. They're 19-15. Obviously, they have a tough week with San Diego and Sacramento this week. We'll learn a lot about them, especially on this West Coast trip with the A's, who are close to first place right now in the West, and then Seattle, who's been killing it offensively. So remains to be seen. But I do think, the Yankees are lucky that, hey, they're not in the National League West right now. They're in the American League East, which seems to be a division that's not gonna, you might be able to win 93 games and win the American League East this year, I think is my point.
I know you sound like an optimist right now. I know you've gotten your sleep. You've had your full weekend to like digest all these games, but like, yeah, I'm tired of the optimism crap. Like I'm literally at DEFCON 7 right now, 7 out of 10 panic level. Like this is just unacceptable right now. Saturday's game was a game you can't lose. I mean, the lineup was atrocious. You know how many pitches Zach Lytle threw that whole game?
Zach Littell.
Littell, yeah.
He threw 81 pitches.
He threw 81 pitches through 7. Is that acceptable? Like you have to work. Like he went through 7 innings and he only have 81 pitches.
Well, they were talking about his approach on Sunday's broadcast, and they were saying that he wants to throw first pitch strikes 80% of the time, and he's not looking to get strikeouts. He's trying to get outs in as few pitches as possible. Clearly, he had that game plan on Saturday, and it worked for him.
But you have to work. You have to get into the pen. You have to like work them into the pen. You can't. He could have thrown a complete game if you wanted to. Like almost like damn near. You could have easily thrown one more inning. That's for one. And two, like, the Volpe injury, cool, it happens. But like, what's your like depth behind him?
Well, what do you expect? Do you expect prime Derek Jeter to be the backup shortstop? Like no team is gonna be able to produce a backup all-star shortstop.
I'm not saying backup prime shortstop. I'm saying something respectable. I mean, look at the Dodgers. I know the Dodgers have Kike Hernandez. Look at the Diamondbacks. And look at the Red Sox. They all have great backup and great depth pieces. Like literally, it is Pablo freaking Reyes. No offense to Pablo Reyes. Yes, they were talking about how he's versatile and he's played every position around the diamond. But really, Pablo Reyes, Jorbit Vivas, like at this point, like the Yankees are trying to play for a World Series. They're not playing to make the first round or second round. You need to have some type of quality depth behind, Volpe. And I don't want to hear that it's like, oh, it's DJ LeMahieu because then Waldo can slide over. I mean, if that's your point, then why don't we have a third right-handed third baseman or a third baseman? I think that's Waldo. Waldo should be the utility guy.
Waldo, in if all things are working and most people are healthy, Oswaldo ends up being the utility guy. I mean, I don't know what you expect. Yeah, Pablo Reyes, probably not ideal having him at second starting, but because you have the Jazz injury now, he's going to be out for a while. He landed on the injured list. I think they made that official on Saturday.
4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah, he's going to be out for a while. So I actually do think that could be a good thing for him. Just kind of get a reset. He was struggling this year a little bit, especially with the strikeouts. Reset mentally, physically, and maybe he'll be good to go after the injury. Hopefully he gets back sooner than the 6 weeks at least. But, I mean, Oswaldo at shortstop, that's not ideal. I think Volpe will probably will be back in the lineup today. And Oswaldo will slot back over to third base, where I think he's probably going to remain for the whole season. I don't think the Yankees are going to make a trade for a third baseman this year. But I don't know what you expect. I think yesterday was disappointing that Boone kept Escarra in with the bases loaded, no outs, and he just had that nubber to the shortstop to the pitcher, an easy double play. I mean, that was just such an uncompetitive at bat, and I think there were a lot of uncompetitive at bats from the Yankees this weekend against the Rays. But I don't know what you expect from a backup. Like the Yankees,
I'm not saying you should get a superstar, but what I'm saying is you should have like a competent backup. Look at the Dodgers; they have Miguel Rojas, Chris Taylor, Kike Hernandez. All these teams have competent like backups. These contenders have competent backups. And I know we're gonna be like, oh, but the Dodgers are like deferred money FC, BC. Like, yes, the Dodgers have an abundance of money, and they're maybe an anomaly. But I still think you should have quality depth behind your major positions.
I don't think it's fair to compare everyone to the Dodgers. They're an anomaly. The Red Sox, their backup infielders are David Hamilton and Abraham Toro.
I would take David Hamilton and Abraham Toro over Pablo Reyes. Pablo Reyes has literally played on 1, 2, 3, 4. The Yankees are his 15. He was on the Mets last year, and he played 58 games in AAA, and he only played as a pinch runner in September. And then he was sent to an assignment. Then and 2 years ago on the Red Sox, he was selected in May, and he was with Boston from May to June, and then he went to the IL and pretty much injured the whole season and for Boston.
I don't expect Pablo Reyes to be on the roster in September.
Yeah, but these games are frustrating to lose. Like that's just the thing. You can't expect that. At least give us something palatable. Like Brendan Rodgers signed on a minor league contract. You can't tell me you could not have signed Brendan Rodgers to a minor league deal as the Yankees. That's what I'm saying.
Is Brendan Rodgers better than what they have on the bench right now?
I'll say this: Brendan Rodgers makes some defensive plays that weren't made yesterday afternoon. I felt yesterday too. The defense was very underwhelming. It was Reyes and Peraza, middle infield yesterday. That's one of my gripes of the weekend. Another gripe is how many times is Aaron Boone gonna mismanage a freaking bullpen? Like, please, can somebody he needs to be held accountable for a lot of the decisions were this weekend. Obviously, we already talked about the pinch hit Escarra debacle, but like Saturday's a perfect example. We nuked the pen on Saturday. Literally, Yarborough, cool, gave us good 4 innings. Did get a little bit of traffic, but hey, he got the job done. He got through 4. Ian Hamilton, 1 inning, cool. He then decides to go Fernando Cruz. And what does Fernando Cruz have to do to get the 8th inning at this point? I think it's between you and me. Fernando Cruz is a way better pitcher than Mark Leiter Jr. And Fernando Cruz should be the 8th inning guy for right now. Because Devin Williams is not ready to go into high leverage, and Devin Williams wasn't available on Saturday. So I feel like that Fernando Cruz and Tim Hill should be your 8th inning guys. 8th inning should be Tim Hill if it's lefty dominant. You get the lefty-lefty matchup. But if it's not, Fernando Cruz should get it. I love Mark Leiter and that he's a strikeout machine. But, man, the amount of games that he's blown this season, we're already I can think of 2 games that he's blown. Man, we need some help here. What does he have to do?
Yeah, the Arizona game was the other one that he blew when he gave up the grand slam to Suarez. And I agree on that one. I don't know what else Fernando Cruz needs to do to get the 8th inning when Williams isn't ready. Because if Williams is ready, I think he's looked pretty good in the 8th inning. But for now, yeah, if Williams isn't ready, at least Cruz should be kind of the number 1 high leverage guy outside of Devin Williams and Luke Weaver. Because I think he's probably our 3rd best reliever, and they haven't used him in some games they have, but consistently in those situations we haven't seen it. And I agree, I think they should have flopped it where Mark Leiter Jr. is pitching earlier in the game, and then Cruz came in for the 8th because that's where the Yankees lost the game, in the 8th inning, for sure. I agree with that.
It's why can't the Yankees also? Here's another one. Why can't the Yankees have a freaking Jerry Hairston Jr.? Where's the Jerry Hairston Jr. on this team? A multi-positional just fiend.
Well, they do. They do have Pablo Reyes who can play every position. I know it's not to the level of Jerry Hairston Jr., but what do you? I don't know what you expect.
Pablo Reyes is not a playoff caliber player.
No,
he's a World Series level player. He is cool if you're the Pirates. Go beyond the Pirates. Go beyond the Rockies. You're cool. No offense to Pablo Reyes. He's an MLB, but not for the Yankees. I just don't get it. And then Peraza and Yorbit Vivas are 2, don't get me wrong. They're 2 rookies, and they're 2, young players that need time to develop. But you're in the majors, you need to win, and you need to produce. And that brings up my other point. What is going on with Jason Dominguez? What is the organizational plan with him? At this point, if we're just going to flip-flop him in and out of the lineup for defense, trade him. He has trade value. Go get a starting pitcher. Go get a third baseman, because it's clearly, like we said on the recent podcast, that your 3 best outfielders are Aaron Judge, Cody Bellinger, and Trent Grisham. That's the pecking order. And then whoever else wants to play. If it's going to be like that, how is he going to develop into a player? And, yes, he has limited MLB experience, but at least just trade him. Go get a pitcher. Go get a right-handed bat. Go get a reliever or something because, we see what the team is going towards. It's not going to work out.
Yeah, he's hitting 227, 2 home runs, and a 679 OPS this season. He hasn't been good. We know his splits against righties and lefties. He's hitting 83 against lefties right now with no home runs, 311 against righties with 2 of his home runs this year. So clearly, I think he should ditch the switch hitting thing. But to your point, I don't think he's involved in the best lineup this year. And he's too good to be a bench player. I think he's above that. So agreed that I think he has trade value. The Yankees have some very clear needs at this point in the season. It would make sense to at least float him because I don't know. I don't know what the plan is long term. Maybe if Bellinger, which at this point I think Bellinger is going to opt into his deal next year, given what we've seen. But
Cody Bellinger, I swear, like I am so sick of him just doing this auto take. Like he just goes up, and I understand it's a strategy. Hey, when I'm playing MLB The Show, I know it's completely different, but sometimes I take the first pitch strike just to like see what's going on, just to like get comfortable in the box. But what was it? I think it was Saturday. He took 2, and it's just like he's so nonchalant with it. You could just completely tell how he just stands in the box, and you know that he's auto taking. He looks disengaged.
He looks like the Statue of Liberty on first pitch strikes. He's not moving. He's as stiff as Lady Liberty. He's watching that first pitch go right down the middle. And that's something with the Yankees this year. They might be the worst team against fastballs right down the absolute pipe. I've never seen a team, and I feel like it's like this every single year with the Yankees. They take so many pitches right down the heart of the plate. Ben Rice, I know he's been struggling. He can hit every pitch except the fastball right down the middle. I don't know, for whatever reason, he's guessing too much or something, but he always is usually on like a 3-2 count, 2-2 count, and the pitcher surprises him with the fastball right down the middle, and he's just absolutely frozen. I don't know what it is. And Bellinger's like that too. He's like auto take, strike 1, and often strike 2. He's like, let me get behind 0-2 real quick. I think that's going to serve me better in this at bat.
No, it's so obvious when he does it too. You can just tell like by the bat waggle and everything. He's just gonna he's like, I'm going to sit here. Doesn't matter. The ball can just go right through his face, right in front, and just like razor off his hair. He's just gonna be like that. Like just uncompetitive at bats. And again, it's so frustrating. And the reason I'm speaking of this is because this weekend was such a winnable series. Maybe yesterday, Sunday's game was just a game that you just lose because Will Warren wasn't great. But man, Saturday is one that you have to win. You just have to win. You're up, you're in control the whole game. The bats aren't doing the best, but you're up 2-1. You've made, good work, and you've also, took advantage of Zach Littell. Just hit he threw 2 sliders, as they called them on the broadcast, 2 cement mixers right down like the zone, right down the middle, top of the zone, where Wells and Judge hit it. You just have to win those games.
And it's not like the offense really did anything on Friday either. It was only the home run from Paul Goldschmidt. They had 6 hits, but they didn't do much outside that Goldschmidt home run. The Rays had 16 hits yesterday. And I think we're kind of burying the most important thing coming out of this weekend, in my opinion, is the Yankees on days that Max Fried and Carlos Rodón are not pitching are totally just screwed right now. Will Warren, Carlos Carrasco, thank you for your service. I think it's time to find something else there, especially Carlos Carrasco. He definitely, I don't think will be on the roster in September, October if the Yankees make the playoffs. 5.33 ERA on the season. And they threw him in relief yesterday for a couple innings, and he, gave up 2 runs. Would have been 5-5 if Carrasco didn't come in. Will Warren, I thought he was, he wasn't great. Was good with his command, was getting ahead 0-1, 0-2 pretty consistent, but could not finish batters. And, he had that strikeout with the bases loaded one of the innings, nice fastball on the outside part of the plate to get out of the inning, but 4 2/3, 3 earned runs, 8 strikeouts, 3 walks, 7 hits. It's not good enough right now. I think he would be solid in a, low leverage bullpen role if we need him to be, but as a starter that you're relying on, I don't think so. And, we'll see with Rodón. We know he's volatile, but at this point, you trust Fried. Hopefully, he stays healthy and everything. But Carrasco, like if the Yankees have one more injury to this starting rotation, they are cooked. 16th in starting pitching ERA right now, with the best pitcher in the American League at a 1.01 ERA with Fried. I don't know. They got to, and it's not just the starting pitching that these bad starts affect. It affects the bullpen, and that means it affects your entire week essentially. Because on those games that Warren and Carrasco pitch, you got to extend your bullpen. You got to use a lot of those guys, and they're not available for the Fried and Rodón starts, which puts even more pressure on Fried and Rodón to go deep into the game.
Yeah, it's when Warren and Carrasco go, you can only it's a good start if they can get through twice around the order. And if they can't get 18 outs, like, oh, it's going to be a long day. And I think, like, regardless, the Yankees are one injury away in the lineup too from it being total, like DEFCON 10. Like, you are with this optimism. You're like, yeah, it's cool, But like after what I watched Saturday and I watched yesterday, like Cody Bellinger just is like, my God, like the only thing he provides is defense. He's doing what Trent Grisham is hitting like 300 right now.
He's dipped below.
Yeah, he's hitting like what Trent Grisham is doing is what Cody Bellinger should be doing. Good defense and a good bat. Like what's the point here? And
this is the worst Bellinger's going to play. He's not going to be this bad the whole season at the plate.
Yeah, there's a reason why the Cubs gave him for peanuts. Let's think about that.
Yeah, that might have been the upgrade of the offseason. Cody Bellinger to
PCA.
To PCA and Kyle Tucker. I mean, that's a huge upgrade.
Yeah, congratulations. You just handed them PCA and Kyle Tucker. Like, but my whole point is the schedule in May isn't easy too. Like you briefly touched about it. You got San Diego starting tonight. San Diego has Pivetta, King, and Cease, which I can only pretty much give you Cease as a win because I don't think Cease has been pitching that great.
He's been terrible. He's got a 5.61 ERA, but that means he's going to go 11 strikeouts and 7 scoreless against the Yankees.
And then this weekend you got Sacramento. Judge goes home. Judge will probably hit like 5 home runs and they'll still lose the game. It'll be Eugenio Suarez,
Mm-hmm.
Who's pitching this weekend?
It's Fried, Warren, and Rodón.
No, Fried and Rodón are pitching San Diego.
No, San Diego's Rodón, Schmidt, Carrasco, and then Friday's Fried, Saturday Warren, Sunday Rodón. So Rodon's got 2 starts today and Sunday.
So I'm already telling you what's going to happen. I'm going to be Nostradamus here. I'm going to be What do you think I'm going to say right now?
What, they'll lose both series?
I'm telling you right now, this weekend at Sacramento, Warren's going to get hit like a piñata, and I can already see Sunday Rodón just getting absolutely nuked by those Sacramento bats. Just think about it. Little League ballpark. It's going to be a classic Rodón, 5 1/3, 5 2/3, 7 strikeouts, 4 earned. Yankees lose 4-3, 4-1.
We'll see. They face Severino on Sunday, which will be interesting.
Severino, yeah. But like I said, biggest takeaways of this week, there's no depth on this team.
Depth. For those that don't know, Luis cannot pronounce that word. Depth.
No depth on this team. The rotation's garbage other than 2 pitchers. And I don't see a fix. Like you said, I don't see a fix. Like, who's going to, walk in the door soon to fix that?
It's May, which I think is interesting because I believe the Luis Arraez trade a couple years ago happened early in the year, or maybe it was the Marlins did. I don't know if it was Arraez. The Marlins was it Arraez?
It was Arraez, and it was last year. And I remember why it was last year, which I'll tell you off pod. I remember it was this past weekend a year ago because it was one weekend here in Miami.
Yeah. So it's not too early to start looking for other options externally. I think it is very, very clear the Yankees need to find something in the starting rotation to replace Carrasco or Will Warren. Luis Gil's not coming back for another month, 2 months at this point. Who knows when we're going to see him. If I had to put money on it, knowing the Yankees and their players returning from injury, I would probably say close to the All-Star game for Gil. So they can't just keep doing this Carrasco Warren thing for the next 2 months. And Clark Schmidt's a wild card at this point. He's only had 3 starts. He's still working back to form. He's better than Carrasco and Warren when he's at his best, but he hasn't been there yet. So he's TBD. So really, you're running 2 starters out there right now. The bullpen is elite. I think it's one of the best bullpens in the year in the league. I just think we need a better manager of said bullpen. I think we are starting to understand what the roles should be at this point. Weaver, the closer, Williams, the 8th inning guy, and then Cruz should be the number 1 high leverage guy behind them. We'll see if that happens. We got to start moving Mark Leiter Jr. earlier in the game.
It should be, like you said, Cruz number 1, then Tim Hill if it's a lefty situation, and then everybody else is duking it out.
I would say I would probably put Ian Hamilton ahead of Leiter.
Yeah, but they don't trust Ian Hamilton, and I just think it's because of the injury. And like by the end of the month, this whole list will be different because you're gonna hopefully get Johnny Loizaga back. I mean,
yeah,
you're gonna have Johnny back. What's his name's gonna also come back? Jake Cousins is throwing live BP to Stanton on Tuesday. You're gonna have Cousins, Clayton Beater. I don't know. I think he comes back too.
Scott Efros too.
Efros. You're gonna have all those guys come back, which I mean, somebody's gonna get kicked to the curb, and then Heel's gonna come back. But Heel's gonna be whenever. I just think like, here's my thing. And I made this point off pod, and let's close with this, and we'll get into other MLB. Looking at how Major League Baseball is right now and how it's structured, okay? I think the price for pitching arm is going to be so high that it's going to be damn near impossible to acquire an arm if you're the Yankees. I think your options are so low. Because I made a list and I texted it to you on Thursday night. These are the teams that I have put down that need arms, and you will confirm or deny. The Yankees obviously need a rotational piece.
Yeah.
Okay. Dodgers, they're going to be trying to get another rotational piece with the amount of injuries they have.
Yeah.
Boston's going to be in for both bullpen and rotational piece.
Yeah, because they don't have much behind Crochet so far.
Crochet, Bello, and who else?
Like Giolito, but he's working back. Houck's been terrible.
Okay.
So yeah, their pen's not good either. Yeah.
Cubs with the Justin Steele injury and how they're doing, they're going to be definitely in the market to buy something.
And Shota just got hurt this weekend too.
Yeah, so they're going to be in the market. Guardians could be in the mix to bargain bin something. So they'd be like a team that would buy up Eric Fetty just to eat innings.
They need pitching too. They're 27th in rotation ERA.
Philly's going to be in there for pen help.
We talked about that. Yeah, definitely.
Arizona is going to be there for pen help.
They need a closer.
Rangers.
And Arizona's rotation hasn't been good either.
And then the Rangers are going to be in there for pen help as well.
Yeah.
And those are just teams that I see as contenders because I don't see the Padres buying anything. Giants, I don't see it either. I don't see the Giants buying an arm. And then what else is left? The Tigers and Mariners, but they're good on arms. So my whole point is like a lot of Yankee Twitter and a lot of fans just want to just always be like, oh yeah, let's go get Sandy Alcantara. And I'm like, keep that man down in Miami. Keep him far, spider tack merchant, whatever. I don't know what he is. Like keep him far away. Send him to the Mets. Hey, the Mets are always going to buy an arm too. Like they're gonna be in there.
I would trust the Mets with Sandy's redevelopment, though. I mean, they seem to be pitching lab university right now.
But the whole thing is like the only team that holds the cards is Seattle. Say Seattle needs a bat. Would you call Seattle and give them Jason Dominguez for an arm?
My thing is, with the way Seattle's been playing, would Seattle want to trade with the Yankees and give them one of their pitchers that they would end up probably facing in the playoffs? I think Seattle would be more inclined to trade one of their guys to the National League.
And then my other one is like Pablo Lopez is probably going to be the crown jewel.
Yeah.
The thing about Pablo Lopez is what are you going to end up giving up?
You have to give up a lot. It'd be Spencer Jones.
You're giving up Spencer. You're going to have to give up a combination of Will Warren, Spencer Jones, Roderick Arias, maybe Cam Schittler, Chase Hampton, some of those guys.
My thing with
Pablo?
Yeah, well, I lost my train. Oh, with Minnesota, they don't need outfield because they have Walter Jenkins in the minor leagues, so they maybe would be less inclined to want.
But they're terrible. But they're terrible. At this point, you just take whatever you can get.
Yeah, they did just win that series in Boston this weekend, but yeah, they're 15-20. They're not going to be in the playoffs. So,
but my whole thing is just like that Pablo Lopez price is going to be ridiculous, and I think it's 2 years of control, team years control at like 15.
He's got after this year. He's got 2 years of team control. Yeah, at $21 million a year.
Price is going to be astronomical. It's going to be 3 top 10 guys. 2 to 3 young guys.
Yeah, and I think if you're the Yankees, it might be worth it.
Might be. I don't think. I mean, I think it's worth it for any team that's in contention, but it's just like that's a steep price to pay.
And I think, and I do think the Yankees might be at the point where they don't want to trade some of these young guys because they've given up so much in the farm system recently. Not that it's a top class farm system, but they have produced some talent. I mean, look at like some of the development with Ben Rice. That was a nice dev work. And for as much as we give Volpe crap, he's a good Major League Baseball player because he's a good defender. I would say that's a development win for the Yankees. He's not a superstar or anything, but he's a Gold Glove level shortstop.
I'm just saying, like, there's not going to be any arms available, and the ones that are going to be available are going to be astronomically priced.
Yeah, and
I think if you're just a bad team, why would you sell now? Like, I know Eric Fetty's been dropped on Twitter, but like, why would the Cardinals sell him now? If you wait a month, yeah, he could get hurt, but like if you wait a month and a half, like you're going to be able to get a good value back for him.
We'll see. I thought it was interesting. The Yankees promoted George Lombard Jr. to AA this weekend. Yesterday that happened.
Well, you know what that screams?
Screams that he might be on the roster next year to me.
It screams that they're not getting third base, and they're going to give him every opportunity to get the third base job next season.
Next year, yeah.
Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he starts AAA next year, and then by sometime midway next year, he's up in the majors, but he's going to have a clear runway. Get ready for another Paul Goldschmidt at third base, Paul Goldschmidt, Cody Bellinger experiment for a year.
Hey, I've been enjoying the Paul Goldschmidt experience. He's been our second best hitter.
But for every Paul Goldschmidt, you have an Aaron Hicks, Cody Bellinger. For everyone, you have like 3 guys like that, 3 or 4 guys.
I don't think it's fair to write off Cody Bellinger after a bad first month.
He's been awful.
He's been bad.
I got rid of him on my fantasy team.
He's been bad. He hit his 200th home run of his career this weekend.
Cool. But did they win the game? No.
I know.
It's not stats. It's not a stats-driven league.
Wait. Yes, it is.
No, it's not. It's about wins and losses.
But it's a stats-driven league.
It's a wins and losses league. And on that note, we will now move on to the rest of Major League Baseball. So, what a weekend that was. William, where do we want to start this weekend? What games did you end up tapping into, or series did you tap into?
Well, I think we should talk about the Red Sox because I know I touched on it a little bit earlier, but huge loss for them this weekend. Triston Casas out for the season, ruptured patellar tendon, out for the season. Like I said, they lost the series to Minnesota 2-1, and you had Romy Gonzalez playing first base. Now, I think that's a huge. I mean, he did go 3 for 4 on Saturday. They did lose the game though. Cool Cody Clemens moment, hit a home run. His first game in Fenway Park with his dad. Obviously, Roger Clemens was in attendance. But the Red Sox, it's weird. It's a weird situation for them because I always felt like this offense was going to start banging, and it actually has. They're top 10 in all the stat categories, second in stolen bases. But now they have this big question mark at first base. Heading into the season, you had the question mark of, do they want to trade Casas and go out and get something else at first base? Are we going to see Marcelo Mayer come up, or are we going to see Roman Anthony come up? They have reinforcements, but all of a sudden that lineup looks a little bit more thin, and you still have Trevor Story, who is known to get injured. They really got to stay healthy now. That's a huge loss. It sucks because I actually really like Casas. I've been watching that documentary. He's pretty cool, interesting dude, and now he's out for the season. That's a huge loss. And again, they lost the series to Minnesota, which we talked about. Minnesota, we don't think very highly of them. So,
well, I think the biggest thing with the Red Sox is it's been bullpen. It's been an issue. Let me give you some games from the past week and a half. Against Toronto, they were tied 1-1 in the 10th. They lost that game. Against the White Sox, up 2-0 in the bottom of the 6th. They lost that game. Again, with the White Sox, up 4-2 at the top of the 7th. They lost that game. Cleveland, they had 2 men on base, top of the 9th, no outs, 5-4. They lost that game. Giolito 6-0, bottom of the 6th against Toronto. They lost that game. Up 2-0 against Toronto with Tanner Hogue, bottom of the 7th. They lost that game. And then they lost against the Twins, top of the 7th, up 3-1. They've lost 7 games like that. The bullpen is atrocious. And I even made that note yesterday that, Minnesota bullpen, 4 innings, 1 earned, 2 hits, to Boston's 4 innings, 4 earned, 5 hits. We just got to talk, we don't know what's going on with that bullpen in Boston, but I mean, they're just lucky that 1, the Yankees haven't run away with the game, the division, and 2, that Baltimore is just awful, and that Toronto is just middling. So nobody in that division is been leaps and bounds. The AL East is acting more like the AL Central right now.
It is. They do need to address the bullpen. It's Chapman who has struggled of late, but overall has had a decent season. Justin Slayton, he's not the closer. Liam Hendricks, as great of a story as it is that he's back, has not been good. Garrett Whitlock, 2 blown saves last week, not good enough. So they got to figure something out. I mean, who's the best reliever? It's probably Chapman, right? And then you look at everything else, and it's kind of who is that guy? So yeah, and they got Walker Buehler on the injured list.
Yeah, he landed on that.
Which is a concern.
The crazy thing, where I think about it right now, I don't think they're going to buy at the deadline.
Why?
Because I just think they just have too many good young guys that they want to give a chance to. They won't give up Roman Anthony. They probably won't give up Marcelo Meyer. I just think they're just going to hold their assets now, and I think the prices on arms are just going to be so high. And I think I just look at it compared to the Yankees. I think the Yankees have a 1 to 2 year window left after this season, while the Red Sox window is open next year. Completely.
Yeah, they definitely have a bigger window right now than the Yankees do.
But just moving forward, their window's not open yet. The door's opening right now, but it's just let's be honest. Yes, in the preseason we said, okay, Boston's going to be there, but do you think Boston would be mad, let's say, if they go an 87, 88 win team and they miss the wild card or they make the wild card? I don't think that's a bad idea for them.
I think just given that the Yankees aren't going to pull away with this thing, I don't think this year, I think the Red Sox will be in the hunt for the division. Bregman, Devers, and Duran is an elite top 3. I mean, that's one of the best top 3s in the league. But the pitching hasn't been there.
But my whole point is are you, if you're a Red Sox fan, or even if you're Red Sox management, are you mad about finishing second or missing out the wild card, or just making it in and scooting past?
No, because I do think it's kind of like a first year thing. This is their first year of trying to contend. Exactly. Since 2018, really.
Exactly, and I think they're going to have money. They're going to have the money to spend in the offseason.
2021, they made the ALCS and lost, but yeah,
they're
an interesting team to watch this year. Tough loss this weekend with Casas.
Yeah, so I mean, tough, really unfortunate play. So I mean, Pablo Lopez watch. When does Pablo Lopez pitch again? That's the biggest question for this
Tuesday, I believe.
Hey, I can see the Twins also moving from Buxton. I mean, Buxton hasn't been that terrible.
He's been good.
Yeah, so I could see, Minnesota is in deep rebuild mode. So yeah, because it feels like their best players are a little bit older, and they do have some young talent coming up. Good series win for them. Need to do that. Let's talk about what happened down here in Miami. The A's. I'm literally on the A's trade. What do you think about the A's winning 2 out of 1? I know Saturday.
2 out of 3.
Yeah, 2 out of 3. I know Saturday was unfortunate with Mason Miller giving up a walk-off grand slam to Kyle Stowers, which Baltimore Orioles fans on Twitter. I now have the Orioles algorithm on my Twitter account, and they're all so bad because Trevor Rogers is in the minors, and they just have to watch Connor Norby and Kyle Stowers just go nuclear, and they're like, why? Mm-hmm. But I mean, Miami and Sacramento. Sacramento looks good. I know my buddy Bailey, who we've talked about in the podcast, he's an A's fan, is now back on the A's train. He's back watching all the A's games because they're now competitive and they're not terrible. JJ Bleday, revenge weekend, looking good. Nick Kurtz looking good too. How we feeling?
Yeah, well, I feel like it's going to be the same story with them all season long. Is they're going to get production from the lineup. They're right now, if you look at the team stats, they're 7th in average, 9th in OPS, 5th in home runs. They're actually dead last in stolen bases, which is something to watch if they actually do make the playoffs, which we're a long way to go for that. But it seems like they don't really run the bases. Brent Rooker, 9 home runs. Tyler Soderstrom, 9 home runs. Then you got Langoliers with 6, Lawrence Butler with 5, Luis Urias with 5, and then Bleday hit his 4th over the weekend. Obviously, you got Jacob Wilson, who's kind of like their contact guy, only has 5 walks on the season. It's offense for the A's, and the pitching is questionable. Luis Severino is their number 1 guy. Jeff Springs, JP Sears, Gunnar Hoglund. I saw Gunnar Hoglund made his first start against Texas, I think on Friday. And I thought it sounds like this guy should be striker for Manchester United or something.
Against Miami. He had a good start. My biggest question is, and I had this question is like, as good as Sacramento is, they're a great story. One thing I do have concerns, and I know you'll watch this because you're more of a big eye test guy. You're also analytics based, but you're an eye test. I don't like them defensively. I don't like Jacob Wilson, good, but I don't like him defensively at shortstop.
He strikes me more as a second baseman.
Not to say that he's a noodle arm, but like I feel like that arm has a lot to be desired defensively.
Yeah, I think he feels more like a second baseman. And then in center, they got JJ Bleday, who's okay. Yeah, Jacob Wilson is a -2 outs above average right now. His arm strength does rank in the 83rd percentile.
And then JJ Bleday isn't great defensively either. I was reading
he's a -5 outs above average, which is not good. And then their catcher Shea Langoliers, pulling up his outs above average. He's average defender in terms of blocking. Pop time is really good, 95th percentile in pop time. Framing is kind of average, and then called strikes above average is good too. But so he's not a great defender, not a bad defender, just a strong defender. But again, defensively, you really need catcher, shortstop, and center field to be strong defenders. And they don't have that. Spine. Yeah.
The spine. So, I mean, hey, I like Oakland. I like Sacramento a lot. I'm into it. I hope they make the playoffs. I think that's MLB's biggest nightmare.
Yeah.
Sacramento. Like, I was thinking about that. Do you think MLB wants Sacramento and Tampa to make the playoffs this year?
I was going to say, can you imagine a Rays A's playoff series? Let's say it's a 7-game series in the American League Championship, which it won't be. But let's just hypothetically say you have one stadium, it's a AAA stadium, and they haven't committed. I think the A's said that if they actually do make the playoffs, they might move the playoff series elsewhere.
Where are they going to go play it?
I don't know. San Francisco, take their stadium? I don't know.
They're going to be in the playoffs too, so it's just going to be like
and then you got the A's playing in the Rays playing in a I mean, it's a minor league stadium too, and then the Yankees spring training stadium. That would be funny. That would be really funny.
What if this happens? Could you see it in a world? I'm just thinking hypothetical. A's make the wild card, win the wild card play-in game. And then they match up with the Central Block, the Tigers, and they beat the Tigers, and they're hosting an ALCS against the Yankees or, God, maybe the Mariners.
Do you really think they have enough pitching to make it to the playoffs, though?
I think they're hitting.
Just carry them.
I mean, bats get hot. You get the right management. I think they can make it. I really do. Like, okay. Texas can't hit. Like, Texas, if you were to combine Texas and Sacramento, you'd have a playoff team. Like, easily.
Yeah. Texas just fired their hitting coach over the weekend.
Yeah, and I mean, the whole thing with Sacramento is, like, I think they can make it. I mean, this month's going to be really interesting to see. I mean, they play the Yankees. You'll get a better view this weekend of what they are. But I really do like Sacramento. Like, they're a young team, but I feel like they're going to be one of those teams that throughout the season, I think they'll have a stronger second half than a first half.
Okay. I mean, either 19-16, 2 games behind Seattle, who's been streaking. So the A's have been playing good baseball. That was a fun series in Miami this weekend. So the Saturday game was cool. I know they lost that one, but Mason Miller finally showed some human. And he didn't look like a robot because every time he goes up there, you feel like he's going 1, 2, 3 and getting the win for them. So was surprised to see him blow that save. But yeah, fun series. Do you like the Marlins Miami Vice City Connects?
I mean, they're just copying the Miami Heats in a way, trying to just go for the Miami Vice look.
I kind of like the old ones better. It might be a hot take. I know you didn't like the old ones, but
those City Connects are going to go triple platinum at the University of Miami frat houses.
Definitely.
We just talked about the Rangers firing their hitting coach, Johnny Eckert. He was hired a month ago. They played Seattle this weekend. Mariners won 2 out of 1, and if it wasn't for a DeGrom shutdown start yesterday, Sunday, which they won 8-1, they would have been swept. Strong start on Friday. Brian Wu, still trying to get him on my fantasy team. Maybe somebody can help me out with that, And then,
well, you don't need pitching; you need hitting. So,
but I want Brian Wu, so type of deal. But I mean, hey, Mariners pitching and hitting is the hitting sustainable? I mean, JP Crawford is hitting elite numbers right now. How we feeling about him?
I worry that the hitting isn't sustainable, especially in that ballpark. But do got to give some love to Kyle Raleigh. He's been incredible. I know he was on our team of the month, but he is hitting, 246, which is pretty good for him, and then 12 home runs, which is the major league lead right now. He's been great, but also they have been having guys. We gave some love to Jorge Polanco in the last episode. He's hitting 380. You got JP Crawford, who's hitting 286 with 3 home runs. I just picked him up in fantasy. Dylan Moore, who did land on the injured list, but a utility guy for them. He's been good. So yeah, they've had a good season. They're in first place. The pitching is going to be there. We know that, which, kind of funnily enough or interestingly enough, it's actually been a story of their offense coming through this season and maybe they're pitching not as much. 11th in rotation and bullpen ERA right now. And they got some guys banged up. Logan Gilbert and George Kirby are both on the injured list right now. So right now it's Wu, Castillo, Logan Evans, Bryce Miller, and Emerson Hancock. But yeah, they got a fun week. They got Oakland for 3 or Sacramento for 3 in Sacramento. Can the offense continue to bang there? We'll see. And then Toronto at home over the weekend, which is a series that they should definitely be looking to win. But it's interesting. You got Randy hitting 5th now, 4th or 5th. They kind of swap them between those 2 spots. And yeah, Cal Raleigh has been one of the best hitters in the sport this season so far. So they're playing good baseball right now.
No, definitely. I think Seattle should win this week. Sacramento is traveled all the way from Miami yesterday. So yeah, big cross country flight, on getaway day. Yeah, definitely give me Seattle. So.
Yeah, that's a tough flight. And Seattle coming back from Texas, but that's definitely not as far, obviously, as Miami. No. So tough flight for the A's.
Yeah, definitely for the A's. But let me wrap through some series quickly. I mean, Detroit versus the Angels, man. Detroit looks good. I watched that game yesterday, and 13-1 yesterday. Kerry Carpenter is electric right now, going 3 for 5 on Friday, 3 for 5 on Friday, winning 9-1. And then Sunday he went again with 5 RBIs. If it wasn't for Kyle Hendricks having a throwback start on Saturday, man, it would have been a clean sweep for the Tigers. But Tigers won that series 2 out of 1. Tigers look really good.
2 out of 3.
Yeah, 2 out of 3 again. Man, what Andrew said on the preview podcast, it's like, he's the oracle. He knows all about this team. We might have to have him back, talk about the season.
Yeah.
Predict the season later on. Are they going to win the World Series? Going to be the best team in the AL?
They could definitely be the best team in the American League. That Friday game was interesting. It was, I believe, 1-1 heading into the 9th inning, and then they scored 8. Riley Green became the first player in Major League Baseball history to hit 2 home runs in the 9th inning. So that was pretty cool. They're 22-13 right now, man. I mean, they got an 84% chance of making the playoffs according to Fangraphs. They've been really, really good. The pitching is there. Their stats are crazy. They're top 10 in all the hitting categories except stolen bases, and their rotation and starting pitching ERA is both 3rd in the league. So top rotation, top lineup. If you're more of a casual fan, you probably haven't heard of many of the guys in the lineup, but they've been all producing really. Gleyber's been having a good year. Baez looks good in center field. Like, it's all just going for them right now. And they have one of the best managers in the sport, which really helps. So, Tigers vibes are high right now.
Tigers vibe. Nationals got the win in the series 2 out of 3. If it wasn't for Hunter Green going 12 strikeouts and 1 earned on Friday, it would have been a clean sweep for them. They won yesterday in a weird game. I know. Did you notice the start time this weekend? Yesterday for the Nationals Reds game.
It was later, wasn't it?
It was a 4:00 first pitch. Do you know why?
No, I don't.
It was marathon weekend in Cincinnati. So, and the race runs right by the stadium. So, they had to push it had weird weather. And even the Nationals telecast made the point that, hey, if this game was a little bit earlier, we would have been done by now. But because it's marathon weekend in Cincinnati, they had a 4:10 start first pitch. I mean, Nationals won 4-1 in a pitcher's duel Sunday. Mackenzie Gore and Nick Martinez going pitch for pitch. And then Saturday, the Nationals went off 11-6. Nationals proven to be a very difficult out, and I think the Reds are fading.
Why couldn't Major League Baseball just not schedule, if they know the race runs right through the stadium area, why did they have to schedule a home series that weekend for the Nationals? Like, I know in Chicago, marathon weekend, the Bears always have a road game. They never play at home that weekend. I feel like it's easy to avoid that problem.
Hey, I don't know. Maybe we have to let MLB know about that next year. Maybe just put them on the road.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, because it's not like a thing where they always host a home game like the Red Sox, like Patriots Day, where they host a game in conjunction with the marathon.
Right.
So, hey, but I mean, hey, the Reds are fading. Very interesting.
I think they're going to be around 500 all season.
Very interesting what they do at the deadline. Could be a team with arms that you call up. I mean, they do have an abundance of arms.
They're only 3 games back in the division, game and a half back in the wild card right now. It's early, but yeah, I don't think they're going to be there in the long haul. I think Chicago's going to run away with that division because they're the best team. They just got to stay healthy.
Talk about the Cubs. Pretty much, walk into your ballpark, take over your ballpark this weekend. Cubs fans literally took over American Mortgage Rate Family Rate Field this weekend. Friday, they won 10-0. PCA offered 2 homers. Saturday, Cubs won 6-2 again. PCA pretty much hit a meatball that Jose Quintana just decided to, on a 3-2 count, like, hey, I'm just going to give you a fastball up in the zone. Like, yeah, definitely. Like, instead of just trying to walk him and load the bases or just walk a run in, like, let's give him a fastball. 1-6-2, and then yesterday, the biggest thing about yesterday is the Brewers won. Caleb Durbin 2 RBI day, but Shota Imanaga left with a left hamstring strain.
Yeah, and he left to start earlier in the week with cramps in his leg, so he's got to do more stretching, I guess. I don't know. That's a concern, but it was a home series for the Cubs. It was crazy how many Cubs fans went up there and just took over that place. Did you see the fan in right field that caught the PCA home run and then threw it back?
Oh, I did
with the cutoff
on Friday. Yeah, on Saturday I was watching the game, and the Saturday's game was literally like it was a road game for the Brewers.
I think the whole series was like that. Crazy.
Yeah. So, hey, talk about it. Quickly, some other series that we don't really have many notes on. We talked Kansas City, Baltimore. Royals won 2-1. Royals bats have been cold, but hey, get right series for the Royals against the Orioles. 7 home runs.
Yeah, 7 home runs on Sunday was a franchise record. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, the Yankees couldn't get right against the Orioles, but it seems like everybody else is getting right against the Orioles. Vinny Pasquantino hit his 5th home run of the year on Saturday. Offense was banging on Sunday for the Royals, who are still, they're still in it. They started out slow, fell to 8-14 this year, but they've crawled themselves back, and now they're 19-16. So, I mean, we know the pitching is going to be there for them. And by the way, Pasquantino hit his 6th home run of the season on Sunday. We know the pitching is going to be there for them. If the lineup can kind of keep this hot streak going, I think that Central could be interesting, because Cleveland, I think, has got a pretty good team, and Kansas City, I think, has got a pretty good team. Minnesota and Chicago won't be there, but could be a decent division. And the Royals have 4 against the White Sox and then 3 against the Red Sox this week.
My question is Jackson Holiday might be the only bright spot, hitting 341 since April 16th, 449 OBP, 561 slugging, 1010 OPS. Question is, does Brandon Hyde survive the month of May?
I don't know. Like, how much of this is his fault, I guess, is my question.
Yeah, but there always has to be a fall guy.
I know. There's always a fall guy, and it's always the manager before the players. I mean, if you look at their team rankings on the roster resource page on Fangraphs, I mean, they're in the 20s in pretty much every category. It's crazy. They've been terrible.
Does he survive May?
Let's see. They got Minnesota and LA this weekend on the road.
And then they get Minnesota again at home. And then they get Washington and then Milwaukee and then Boston. And then St. Louis to close out the month with the White Sox.
I mean, that's a really easy month. So I actually think if they continue to struggle and they continue losing games, I'll say no, he doesn't survive the month.
I say if they lose the next two series and they struggle against Minnesota at home and they don't win the National Series, the Beltway Series on rivalry weekend, he'll be out by rivalry weekend.
Okay. I would probably agree with that, to be honest.
So, yeah, I mean, you should be able to get past Minnesota this week, but hey, who knows? Another series, Cleveland, Toronto, Guardians won 2 out of 3. Blue Jays won on Friday, 5-3. Saturday, Guardians got a, grand slam from Daniel Schneemann, who hit a grand salami in the ninth off Yimi Garcia. Jeff Hoffman was not available. The normal closer on Saturday would not have happened with Jeff Hoffman. And Sunday, the Guardians also won again 5-4. Tanner Bybee left the game with cramps, but should be okay according to the manager. Again, Emmanuel Clase got 2 saves on Saturday and Sunday. Any thoughts on the Guardians Jays series?
Not a ton, because I don't think the Jays are going to be there. Gavin Williams gave up a home run on his first pitch in his last 2 starts. Like the very first pitch of the game, or the first pitch he threw were home runs. That's weird. Yeah, I don't have much from this one. Good to see Clase back in that closer role, though, holding things down in the 9th inning, especially because he's on my fantasy team. I really want him to turn it around this year. But yeah, the Guardians are good. They're a pesky team, tough at bats. They need starting pitching. That's going to continue to be the story with them this year. And I know a lot of people need pitching, but they're definitely one of them.
Padres sweep Pittsburgh. Biggest thing about this game was Fernando Tatis got plunked on Friday, but doesn't matter. They won 9-4. Cease only went through 4 innings pitched. They won Saturday 2-1, and then the Padres won 4-0 yesterday.
Yeah, Tatis was back in the lineup on Saturday, so that's good. I saw it and it swole up right away. Yeah. Like that thing had a huge bump on his forearm right away. Mm-hmm. But they can't afford any more injuries in San Diego. Good thing he was back in the lineup on Saturday, and the pen was great on Saturday. Matsui, Jacob, Adam, and Suarez, 4 innings, no hits. That's going to be the story with them. Great bullpen. I'm scared for this Yankee series this weekend because they're one of the better teams in the sport right now. And Tatis is still there in the lineup. I think Merrill might be coming back this week.
Please, I need it.
So we'll see. Their lineup is really good. 3rd in average this year. So, and they got the best pen in the game.
White Sox won the series 2-1, 2-3, 2 out of 3 against Houston. What are we talking? New City connects.
Yeah.
Beer struggles. They won Friday and they won Sunday. I mean, Saturday they lost because it was a Hunter Brown start. But what are we feeling about these White Sox?
I'm not nothing on the White Sox. The City Connects look better in action than I thought they were going to. Still like the old Southside uniforms, way better. Jake Myers had a crazy Saturday. 7 RBIs, 13 total bases, which tied a franchise record. Homer, triple, another homer, a double. He was incredible. Hunter Brown was good. That was the game they won. Astros they're kind of just a 500 ball club this year. I mean, they're a game above 500 right now, but they're struggling to put together winning streaks or, winning multiple series in a row. And they got Milwaukee and Cincinnati and then Kansas City this week and then into next week. So it's kind of a tour of the Central. I expect them to hopefully have a good week this week, especially against Milwaukee and in Cincy. So I don't know. They're just, I think, Seattle, Oakland, or Sacramento, Texas, and Houston, like they're all going to kind of have their hot months and they're going to have their cold months. Right now, Houston's kind of in a colder month, kind of an average month. Let's see. I think they'll have a hot month or two this year.
My question is, what's the worst team? The Pirates, the Rockies, or the White Sox? Did we underrate the White Sox this year?
Maybe a little bit. They've had some of these young guys come up. They're playing decent. Benintendi's had a good year, which is kind of surprising. Robert is leading the league in stolen bases, so it's good to have him back healthy. Meidroth, Cuero, they got some dudes in the lineup, and the pitching's been
Shane Smith.
Bad. Shane Smith's been good. Like they're 14th in starting pitching ERA, so
he's a Rule 5 guy looking good. I mean, they're doing some good things out there on the South Side.
Yeah, they're still 10-24. Like, let's not give.
But they're better than the Rockies.
They're definitely better than the Rockies. I guess we can talk about that series.
They're better than the Pirates too. Come on, if it wasn't for Paul Skeens, they would be right down there with the Rockies.
They're better than the Pirates for sure.
Yeah, man. The Colorado Rockies. Since we're on the topic, lost 3 out of 4. They won 2 straight on Thursday. Giants won 4-0. Friday, Saturday 6-3, and then yesterday 9-3. Willie Adames had a 2-homer day. Talk about that DRS, -6, -2.7 defense rating. Been awful.
Yeah, he's got a -5 outs above average on Savant. It has not been good enough. 675 OPS. I guess it doesn't matter a ton because the team has been playing well outside of him. But yeah, he has not been good enough himself. And now they play Chicago and Minnesota this week. I'm actually going to the game tonight against
the Giants.
Cubs Giants, yeah. So that'll be fun. And then Minnesota. So they're on in the Midwest this week. Tough travel day yesterday. So I expect the Cubs to win tonight. But yeah, they're good. Verlander has actually had some good starts in a row here. His last start against Colorado, 6 1/3, 2 earned runs. And then Texas a couple weeks ago, 6 innings, 1 earned. Against the Angels, 6 innings, 1 earned. So he's got a tough start this week against the Cubs, which will be fun to watch.
Yeah. And then finally, the last 2 remaining series we have to talk about. Arizona, Philadelphia. Philadelphia won 2 out of 3. Philadelphia won 3-2 with a Jesus Luzardo start. Kyle Schwarber is playing great. Nola had his first win of the year Saturday, winning 7-2. And then Diamondbacks won 11-9 yesterday. Both bullpens struggled. Ranger Suarez had issues at the back half of the lineup. Perdomo went 4 out of 5. Justin Martinez back on the IL with shoulder concerns, and T1 Walker got moved to the pen. I think these are 2 teams with awful bullpens that will be very active in getting relief help. So that's the biggest takeaway from the series, that both bullpens stink.
Both bullpens are bad. The Phillies are 25th in bullpen ERA, and Arizona ranks 23rd. So yes, those are 2 teams that are contending in theory for a World Series that definitely need bullpen help. The Phillies have crawled themselves back to 2.5 games back of the Mets. So for as, kind of meh as the start's been for them, they are 19-15. This was a good series win for them against a team that I think will be in the playoffs in Arizona. They go to Tampa Bay for 3 and to Cleveland for 3 this week, Philly does. So that's a tough week, honestly. Aaron Nola picked up his first win of the year on Saturday, finally. He was really good. But yeah, we'll see with Philly. I don't think they're playing their best baseball yet. The offense has been strong and the starting pitching has been strong, but they do need to figure out the pen.
And defense. I'll say again with Philly, I've seen a lot of defensive errors that they need to iron out. So,
yeah.
And then before we leave, Cardinals take 2 out of 3, swept the doubleheader yesterday on Sunday against the Mets. Victor Scott, great leaping graph, stealing Juan Soto from a home run down to center.
Yep.
So
yeah, good series win there for St. Louis. They're not going to they're not going to be there, I don't think, this year. And then we also had the Dodgers. They won 2 out of 3 against the Braves. Austin Riley hit 2 home runs on Sunday Night Baseball, though. And that game on Saturday started super late. I think it was the latest game, they said, in at least Truist Park's field history, or maybe Braves history.
No, really. Truist Park history, meaning a history of 5 years.
5 years, yeah. Maybe it might have been Braves history. I can't remember, which obviously a big difference. But the Dodgers won that game 10-3. Roki Sasaki picked up his first career win. Schwellenbach really struggled on Saturday. And Ohtani homered, but good to salvage it on Sunday for the Braves and avoid the sweep. The Braves they got Cincinnati and Pittsburgh this week, so they should look for 2 series wins, hopefully.
Yep. Any notes on that, or that wraps up week 5.5?
That's it. That's all I got.
5 week. I mean, hey, a lot of good series. I know we'll be locked into that Yankees Padres series. I mean, Yankees Padres will be up. Be a couple other good series of note to watch. I mean, today we'll have Dodgers. Dodgers are coming down to the Miami this week, so get some good baseball here in Miami. A's versus Seattle for the front part. Cubs Giants, Astros Brewers, and Mets Diamondbacks for the second time this season. So really good series to watch. We'll definitely keep it locked here. William, anything else before we leave this podcast for the day?
I think that's all I got. Like I said, I'm going to the Cubs game tonight, so I'll report back my findings in the next episode. See if I notice anything in that series, pick anything up.
Awesome. Well, that wraps up week 5.5. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure you follow us on X. Make sure you follow us on Instagram, like, subscribe, share this out with your friends and family. And again, keep it locked in. We'll be back here midweek for our review of the front part of the week.
Exactly. You hit it all. Thank you guys for listening. We'll be back later in the week, as Luis said. Until then, we'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.